Hello and welcome back to the Pause podcast with me, Faye Cornhill.
And me, Helen Hopkins. It's time to grab a cuppa and get comfy.
How's your week been, Hels?
Do you know what? I have been reminded this week about, it's a saying that my grandma always used to say, what you reap is what you sow. And I've been a really good Samaritan. I have found a lost dog, which I reunited with its owner.
I was aware of the lost dog scenario. I was sad about that because, you know, I love dogs.
You love a dog. And I was driving back from Tesco, back to my house, and there's this lovely little dog running around, and I was like, oh God, I'm going to stop. We live opposite a really big, kind of loads and loads of farmland. So I waited for 45 minutes for the dog owner, and I started to get quite panicked.
That is good of you.
But I started to get quite panicked that maybe the dog owner had got really like pulled over or something, or was like in a ditch somewhere. But anyway, the dog owner returned. But the most complex bit of the story is that there was an unlocked car in the car park, and the dog was whining by the car, and I had a real moment of like, do I put the dog in the car? Do I not put the dog in the car? Then I realised the car was open. So I put the dog in, and the dog was really happy. But the internet was quite in uproar about me putting the dog in the car, because I thought, what to do in a situation like this? I'm going to ask the internet what they think. So I put it on my story.
I voted put the dog in the car.
Yeah. Loads of people said no. Early on, it was like a 60-40 no to yes. And then I panicked slightly, but the dog was already in the car and I couldn't then take the dog out of the car. It was a morning. But anyway, I reunited the dog owner, and it turns out she fosters dogs. Aww. So she actually had 12 dogs with her. I was like, what is this woman doing with like 12 dogs? And it turns out she's not a crazy dog lady. She's just a very kind lady who loves a dog.
Well, I mean, anyone with dogs is lovely.
But it's one of those moments, isn't it, where you think, I could have just left the dog. I could have popped the dog in the car and left.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people would have done. 45 minutes is a long time.
I think there's a lot of people that would just walk away. Don't look. Don't look.
And actually, I think sometimes we give out to the universe what we need back.
Yeah.
And if I am in a tricky situation, I look for a grown-up and I hope that they will help me. And actually, that's what I did. And I also helped someone who broke down this week. That was quite funny.
Did you fix a wheel?
No, I didn't. No.
Oh, wow.
They broke down in an electric car, and you and I both have electric cars.
We do.
Turns out that her son had taken the key to the electric car and was at the local secondary school. So she flagged me down and she was like, oh my God, my car's broken down because my son's got my key. Can you take me to the local secondary school? She jumped in the car. Off we went to secondary school. And then I was at a local cafe. It's been a right week. I was at a local cafe, and a little boy fell over and he had to go to A&E. And his dad was like, I don't know what to do because I've got all this stuff. And he was in a bit of a panic. And I was like, don't worry, leave your stuff and I will take your pushchair home for you. So I wheeled his pushchair home.
Wow.
So it's been a bit of a trio of being a good Samaritan this week.
Are you waiting to reap those rewards?
But actually, I already have reaped the rewards, because I think, as you know, last year was a really tricky year for me. I kept myself to myself. There was a lot of negative energy, and 2025, I'm all about putting the positive energy out. So I am a good Samaritan. If you are in a dire situation, I'm there for you, man. I'm all in. How was your week?
Get her a cape.
Get me a cape and a badge.
My week has been kind of like, this month has been a bit crazy for me.
You have had a massive, like, crazy month.
Yeah. And I know I see it, and then it happens, and then I how can I be surprised? Because I'm the one that scheduled all these things in my calendar. Yeah, I'm surprised every time.
Your WhatsApps are so funny though, because I'm like, you're right, and you're like, I'm at another trade show, or I'm doing this today.
Yeah.
But I think what you do brilliantly is you take one step at a time.
Yeah.
Lots of people would get really overwhelmed by the schedule that you juggle. But what you do brilliantly is you're like, do you know what? Today is one day. I'm just doing today, and then I'll think about tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which is such a nice way to approach life, because lots of people just live in deep overwhelm because they can't deal with like the one step at a time.
Yeah. I do have that's a tomorrow problem. Yeah. Because I literally I can't affect that now. In this moment, I am wherever I was at whatever time of day it was. And, worrying about something, as easy as that is to say, doesn't really change anything, does it?
It really
But I am
doesn't.
aware that my WhatsApps to you become shorter and shorter.
But I know that they are always sent with love, so it's fine.
Good. Okay, fine. Today we're talking about embracing natural beauty, Hells. Not about saving dogs, unfortunately.
Not about saving dogs, because I do have a badge in that.
You have your brownie badge in saving dogs now.
I do. If you are part of the brownie community and there is a saving dog badge, can someone send me one?
I'll sort that out for you, Hells.
Or maybe you could just design me one and gift it to me in the next podcast.
Brilliant. Okay.
Do that.
TBC.
It's interesting that we're talking about embracing natural beauty, because you and I have just arrived after a very long journey. It takes us about 2 hours to get here, doesn't it? It's like in the middle of where we live. And we have both put on copious amounts of blusher to get through today. So I'm not sure. I think it's a really interesting topic. Maybe we're not the right people to talk about.
Are we allowed to have an opinion on this?
I think we are. And this came up for us because of Pamela Anderson, didn't it?
Yeah.
And obviously, Pam, our mate Pam, is such an icon, isn't she? How old is Pam?
I don't know. But I feel like now she's done this, I'm not going to wear makeup anymore. She's become sort of ageless in a sense.
She has become ageless.
She's absolutely nailed it. That's the truth, isn't it?
She has. I must admit, I was quite shocked when I saw the first picture. I was like, oh, because I love a bit of blusher, as you know.
What were you hearing in your head? Was it,
I was
my God, Pamela Anderson looks like an old lady?
Not so much an old lady, but she looks a bit worn. And I mean that with love. Like, she looks...
Like we do in the morning.
Like we do in the morning before we put our blusher on. And I was quite shocked by it, because she is surrounded by much younger women who have probably spent all day in the glam squad, whatever that is.
Yeah.
You know, like women who have probably had like a colonic irrigation before to like lose 3 pounds. They've probably wrapped themselves in some sort of seaweed something. They've probably spent 3 hours like hydrating their skin, whilst also like, I don't know, doing whatever they do.
Let alone Botox and
exactly,
all the rest
and all
of it.
the things. And so how brave of her to put herself out there. I wonder
why she did it. I'd love to know.
Well, I think it was partly because she was fed up of stylists. So she went on some sort of trip somewhere and she's like, I don't want a stylist. I just want to take my own clothes and be me. And I think she started a movement. And I know that this morning when I was putting on a little bit of like pre-makeup before we drove here.
Pre-makeup.
Oh, it was just, you know, like some sort of like tinted like moisturizer.
I love that you have a pre-makeup.
I just think it's super interesting, because I only actually started wearing makeup at university. I didn't wear makeup before then, apart from maybe a little bit of like mascara. And my sisters, neither of them wear makeup ever.
No way. Did your mum wear makeup?
No. Mum didn't have any makeup.
Wow.
So when I was growing up, I didn't really know what makeup was. And then I went to university, and my Bessie, Lucy from uni, she wore like flicked eyeliner and she like the full face. And I learned a lot about makeup from her. And I think, apply makeup probably like a 12-year-old, because I have 3 products that I just, you know, use every day regardless.
Blusher.
More blusher. Yeah. 3 different types of blusher. And I think Pamela Anderson is so brave, and it's sending a really clear message to women of our age and also our girls, we've both got teenage girls, about that it's okay not to like conform to those kind of those beauty standards that we have been told are normal. What do you think? Would you go makeup free?
I most of the time am makeup free.
Oh yeah.
At home, I never wear makeup. If I wasn't going somewhere, I would never put makeup on, which is
interesting.
Yeah, which is, now I think about it, like my mum and my sister both wear makeup, but not loads. I mean, it's like less than a 5-minute routine for them, but both of them aren't up and ready for the day unless the hair is brushed and the makeup is on.
Okay.
They're not vain. It's just part of their...
It almost becomes part of the habit, doesn't it?
Part of what they do. But I am inherently lazy with things like that. I know, not generally speaking, but with things like that, if there's not a benefit to me, I'm not going to do it. And so for me at home, who do I need to look good for? Because I'm married to someone who's like, you don't need makeup anyway, which is
cute.
I know, nice. And, you know, maybe my attitude, if I'd spent the last 20 years with someone who was like, you look dog ugly when you wake up.
Can you make an effort?
Maybe I would have learned a different way. But I've always thought it's actually really important for our kids to see what I look like. And I know we're not talking about it today, but I'm somebody who is quite happy to walk around my house in my underwear in front of my teenage kids, one being a teenage boy, because actually I think he needs to know what a real woman looks like.
Agreed. Yeah, definitely.
And, his perception of women, for me, cannot be made up of what he sees on Instagram or Netflix. Beautiful, slim, full, hair done makeup, because it's not reality. So I've always tried to really keep clear on that. And, sometimes he'll come into our room and I'll be in the shower and I'll be like, it's fine, you can come in. And I do that on purpose because I want it to be like a warts and all. So actually, I had this conversation in preparation with Harry, my son, who's 16. And I said, what do you think about makeup? And he literally didn't need to think twice about it. He said, it's a complete waste of time.
I love that.
He's like, it would be a nightmare if I had to put makeup. He was like, what the hell? He was like, it's just like another thing to do.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think that's just the society that we grow up in.
Yeah.
For me, it was growing up in a household just watching my mum put makeup on every day, but not my dad. But the problem for me is that I flip from one to the next. I'm like, yeah, I can do the school run with no makeup.
Yeah.
But also then when I do put some makeup on, if I'm going on a night out, which let's face it is about once a year, I really like how I look. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's fun. I don't wear much and I don't do anything fancy because I'm lazy. But it makes me feel like, I've scrubbed up well there.
Definitely. And I think for me, makeup is about enhancing what I've already got, Faye.
Those cheekbones.
It's about enhancing what I've got, not hiding what I don't have. I think the other thing with you is, as we were sitting there and I was listening, you've also got amazing skin. So actually, probably barefaced, naked face without any makeup is probably still got beautiful texture, is very hydrated, because actually your skincare routine is very important to you and something that you spend a lot of time and effort on. So I wonder whether that's almost your equivalent of makeup in a way.
Yeah, you're probably right. And I think we'll do a podcast on skincare.
Well, I want you to bring all of your things. I want you to talk me through your 5-step process.
Be like QVC.
Yeah. I'm all in on that. But I think for me, my girls wear makeup to school now, which is just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
If you're listening from their school, don't shout at them. They wear a tiny bit, and actually, it's very natural. It's very light. It's enhancing what they have. They look really pretty, and it makes them feel good. And I wonder whether the difference here is wear makeup if it makes you feel good, not to hide what you're worried you don't have.
Yeah, and who knows? I don't think we know the answer or what the balance is, because you're quite right what you say. If I had acne,
yes,
would I be
or scarring?
I understand that it's actually a privilege to be able to say I can't be asked to wear makeup.
Yeah.
And I'm on Zooms left, right, and centre, and I'm actually really comfortable with that. But if I had, terrible scarring, or I don't know, there's a lot of skin conditions, would I be saying the same thing? I probably wouldn't actually, because it would affect my confidence. So I do understand that, but I've just flipped from one to the next.
I also think though, there's a lot more product range, isn't there, in makeup? Like when we were growing up, it was a very thick foundation.
And a Rimmel Heather Shimmer lipstick. Tell me you had that.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Do you also remember Exclamation? The scent. Exclamation.
Wow.
This is going to be the most viewed podcast because I've just done a little bit of a sing-along. But all of those things were really important to us. But I think because makeup and cosmetics have come so far, actually the kids can wear a little bit of makeup without the thick foundation. I don't think I ever wore blusher. I obviously kind of grew into blusher.
She found it eventually.
I found all of the blusher. But actually the cosmetic industry has progressed so massively that even if Pamela Anderson wore just a little bit of tinted moisturiser, you probably wouldn't know, and you'd probably assume that she was naked faced, wouldn't you?
Yeah. It's a tricky one. If every woman didn't wear makeup, would you feel more confident to not wear makeup?
I actually like wearing makeup. As you were saying before about when you go out and you put on a little bit of makeup and you're like, oh, I really like how it looks. You and I spend a lot of our time on camera doing Zooms. Like, we spend a lot of time looking at ourselves in a way that probably other people didn't. But but like, you sat there in a Zoom and sometimes I'm like, God, this angle's awful. Like, I need to like move my camera up and get a spotlight for my face. And actually, we spend more time looking at ourselves than perhaps our ancestors did.
This is an interesting one though, because I was on some calls earlier in the week and I think my hay fever has already started.
Gosh, it's early.
Yeah, because I had really itchy eyes and I said to the woman, which, this is habitual, but I was like, I'm sorry for the state of me. I've got no makeup on, but my eyes are really itchy. Women apologise for their appearance. It's ridiculous that I even said that. And she said to me, oh, you don't look any different.
Interesting.
And actually, I took that as a compliment rather than, oh, thanks, love.
Thanks. Normally trowel it on.
Yeah. But I took that as a compliment. And I think that's so interesting because I think we see different things about ourselves than other people then see about ourselves.
But we've also been looking at our faces for a very long time. So all the things that we perhaps aren't that 100% on or keen on or don't like, we see those bits more, like they're magnified, aren't they?
This is what I find interesting though, because I'm anti-filter on Instagram.
I know you are.
Yeah, I know that was a hard blow for you, wasn't it? When I first
use filters. Sometimes I use like the preset when it changed the lighting. Is that the same thing as a filter?
I think it's probably the same.
I'm so sorry, Faye.
No, it's fine. Everyone must do what they need to do. But if I'm anti-filter, then is makeup just another filter?
Well, it probably is. I think, though, the reason you're anti-filter is because when we think of a filter, we think about something like AI changing the proportions of our face, changing how bright our eyes are, how big they are. Whereas makeup, yes, it probably is a filter in some respects, but you can do it on your terms. Whereas I guess with a true filter on like Instagram or Snapchat, then actually it has to do it in a certain way, doesn't it? Because it's like programmed to do it that way.
Yeah. I think, I just remember testing one and I looked like a different person.
Well, it's when they put like soft focus on you and you're like, oh,
there are no wrinkles.
Yeah, they've all gone. But the wrinkles are about life, aren't they? And about laughter and about the kind of the journey that we've had to this moment.
Yeah. It's a fascinating one. I don't think I'm ready to go makeup free though.
Oh God, no. Although I do go makeup free on holiday.
Same.
Because I know you've just booked a holiday, haven't you? Will you be going makeup free on that holiday?
Yeah, I never went.
It's a super sunny holiday.
I never ever wear makeup on holiday. Ever.
Yeah, I would wear a tinted moisturiser, I think.
Yeah, I'm just SPF.
That's why your skin's so beautiful.
Well, I'm precious about these things.
You are precious about
the skin.
Things.
Yeah, I never ever wear makeup on holiday, mainly because I can't be bothered.
Do you take it with you?
I take a tiny amount with me and I never put it on.
Really? Not even at dinner?
Nope.
Interesting.
Because I'm lazy. I tell you this, Helen, and you don't believe this about me.
No, I don't think lazy is the approach.
I don't even dry my hair. Who are the people that dry their hair on holiday?
Me.
Really?
Well, it depends what type of holiday.
Don't you just get all hot and flustered and like,
No. No, Faye, I don't.
Oh gosh, no. Couldn't. How
often do you wash your hair?
Twice a week.
See, I wash my hair every day. Because I've just got the type of hair that needs to be washed every day.
What is that type of hair? Like
greasy hair.
No way.
Yeah.
Every day.
So this morning, before we left, I washed and dried my hair. You have had an early start. I know.
Wow.
5:20. Just because I hate the feeling of my hair being greasy, the smell of it. That's a really nice soundbite.
That is a lovely sound. So in summary of us talking about embracing natural beauty, we're not ready.
We're not ready, but I wonder whether we are more natural than we perhaps have been previously. Mm-hmm. Like in our teens and probably in our 20s when we were wearing more makeup, we are more natural now. And I think I'm leaning into the more natural products that allow me to do that, but still on my own terms. And also, I don't want to make a rule for it. Like some days I am going to want to wear like a nice face of makeup and some days as you know, because I spend a lot of time in the kitchen, like those aren't the days that I'm putting much makeup on.
Sure.
And it sweats off pretty quick.
Yeah.
So
okay, summary then from both of us.
Yes.
A bit.
I am all for it. I love the fact that Pamela Anderson is kind of setting a tone for women who want to approach it differently. I am high-fiving her from a distance because obviously we're not best friends yet.
Mm-hmm.
We will be though.
I'm going to throw a last-minute curveball in on the Pammy thing. Was it just a very effective PR stunt?
Well, it could be, because she also had her Netflix series, didn't she?
A new film is coming out.
A new film, which looks really interesting. Yeah. And let's face it, we sit here, but we are also in business. And actually, there are things that we do for business that we probably wouldn't do in real life when you're like, actually, that in terms of a business approach, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
But also, I think she has always been her own person, hasn't she?
Yeah.
She's always been for one that's like, this is just me. This is just how I'm going to live my life. And you've only got to like salute that, haven't you? You've only got to go, 100%. Do you know what? Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Well done, you. I'm sending you a high five.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll send her an invite to come on the podcast
Pam,
and talk about it.
Come chat to us.
Come on, Pam.
Bezzy.
If you're listening, Pam, you're invited.
You're invited. What we'll do is we'll make an extra seat for you. You can sit in the middle. Pam sandwich.
Good. Okay. Well, there we have it.
Yeah. Interesting conversation and definitely one to think about. And we'd love to know people's thoughts, wouldn't we?
Absolutely.
So make sure that you comment below or like DM us.
Yeah.
And let us know what you think.
Yeah, absolutely. Come and follow us on Instagram. Let us know your thoughts on this. And don't forget to hit subscribe.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week.
Lovely. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.
Coming up next week on the podcast, we are going to be talking about period anxiety.
I feel so anxious about my periods and I don't even have them anymore.
Well, then we definitely need to discuss it.
We do. We need to discuss it. So make sure you tune in next week and don't forget to leave a comment, like and subscribe and do all that fancy stuff because we want to hang out with you more.